Hi, everybody. This is Melinda Gallant, and I want to welcome you to another Cape Conversations. Oh my gosh, I've got a great show today, and you know why? Because we're talking about a subject I really like, and that's theater and bringing wonderful, wonderful things to an audience. And we're doing it all right here in the Sandwich Town Hall. So come along. Let's have another Cape Conversation. Hi, everybody. Oh, I am so excited today. We are in the Sandwich Town Hall on the beautiful Glasstown stage, and I have three wonderful folks with me who are very theatrical and so much fun, and they're doing a play on this stage. I have with me Kim Lajoie, Steve Lajoie, and the fabulous director, Gary Vacon. Hi, guys.
Hi, Melinda.
So I'm going to start with Gary because he's the director, and of course, you know, directors pretend like they're in charge. We all know they really aren't,
makes
but
sense.
that's okay.
Yeah, pretend is the word.
So Gary, tell me about this show. Tell me about your actors. Who's in this show, first of all?
Who is in this show? Well, Kim and Steve are in the show.
Yeah.
And they are playing a couple. Well, let's talk about the show in general first.
Okay, yeah.
Let's. This is a show written by George Barnett, and I first met George in a playwrights group, and I read the script. Oh, this might have been 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I love the script. It's
Yep.
funny. George is kind of a reincarnation of the sitcom, the classic sitcom.
Right.
But he brings it up to date, and he just writes great stuff. I fell in love with it. And then you called me, and you said,
I did.
would you direct the show? Now, here's what you got to know about when Melinda calls you and asks you to do something, is that Melinda has directed a couple of shows that I've written. And if you've written a show and someone has directed your show, you owe them favors for the entire rest of your life. But that isn't the
I'm
sole,
working on it, Gary. I'm working on it.
That is not the sole reason that I agreed to direct this show. The second reason was this wonderful cast. I was able to talk into playing some terrific roles. And I've worked with Kim and Steve before they did a play that I had written, and just loved working with them. Charlotte Green is one of our other actresses. And
I know, and she's a VP of a bank.
Oh, that's right. Charlotte is a VP of a bank. I think it's going to take over Cape Cod at some point in time. In fact, that's the plan. And I've worked with her many times and just love working with her. And then we needed a young male character, and I have to give my wife casting credit for finding Ed Kinney. Ed's wife is a friend in the neighborhood, and Ed's her son, and he came, he was in my backyard one day. My wife Janet saw him and said, "This is your guy." We spent an hour together.
He was doing landscaping, wasn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
and this is your guy.
Talent is everywhere on Cape Cod.
We spent about an
How
hour
true.
together, and I said, "Yeah, this is our guy," and
That's
and
great.
it's just, we're having a blast.
It's fun. And the storyline goes, how about Steve? You tell me what the storyline is.
So the
'Cause you're
storyline,
You're a dad, right? You play your
exactly. The
dad?
storyline is there's a couple, us, whose daughter has moved out, but who shows up again with her new boyfriend. And this all happens around the time of COVID.
Oh.
So the daughter and the boyfriend move into the house for a supposedly short period of time, but then they all get locked down.
So you're empty nesters.
Exactly. Yep, we were until all of a sudden we weren't. So the conflict is basically between my character Ralph and the boyfriend. We don't get along all that well. So,
Really?
but it's very funny. It's really a fun show. So I think it'd be a good time.
And how does mom get along with everybody?
So I'm the mom,
Yeah.
and she is the peacekeeper.
Yeah. Typical.
Typical.
Yeah.
She loves her daughter very much, and the daughter is very much in love with this new boyfriend. And the father is not so wild about the new boyfriend. So
That's
it's
typical.
running interference between the new boyfriend and the dad.
That's wonderful.
It's really, and I've described this show to many people this way. It feels to me like it's sort of a cross between the Jackie Gleason show,
The honeymooners.
the
There's a lot of
Honeymooners,
physical humor.
Yeah.
with that level of, and in fact, the dad's name is Ralph, and All in the Family.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so it's that level of conflict, it's that level of family dynamic, it's that level of physical comedy. It's so fun, and it's going to be uplifting, and it's going to be funny for anybody who sees it.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. So it'll be a good thing to do. You go up the 1st of November, right?
1st of November.
Correct.
Right.
First 2
So,
weekends.
so during that time period, there's a lot of things going on in the
There
world
will
in the
be.
in this country.
Yes, there
So
is.
this will be a way to step away and have a laugh.
Absolutely.
What a great idea! It
I'm
sounds
not
like-
sure if the timing was intentional, but it's going to work out.
I heard you have a very smart producer, and yes, the timing was
Oh,
There you go.
absolutely.
We do, in fact.
We do have a very smart
Melinda is
producer.
our producer. That's correct.
I am. So, with all disclosure, and there is a disclosure here, yes, I am a part of the Sandwich Arts Alliance who is producing this, and I am kind of overseeing for them and watching what you guys do, which is so fabulous. So, tell me a little bit about your background. Gary, let's start with you.
Background?
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know
an
what
engineer, aren't you?
I don't belong here at all.
No,
I'm
that's why I wanted to talk about
I'm
it.
a retired engineer and entrepreneur, ran a couple of tech companies, and somehow got wrapped up in theater in retirement, living in Falmouth.
Excellent.
So I don't belong here at all.
But you are a member of the Arts Alliance.
I am a member of the Arts Alliance.
And you won what award last year?
Oh, I was Volunteer of the Year. Nice. I don't know exactly. Nice, right? Nice. Not one of our characters has that certain affectation. I won't mention who it is. But yes, I was Volunteer of the Year.
Excellent.
And I've got a certificate suitable for framing.
There you go. There you go.
Yes.
See, it's all good. It's all
Yes.
good. And what about you, Steve?
So I have been doing theater since I was a freshman in high school, which is almost 50 years ago now.
Yeah.
And actually majored in fine arts and English at St. Michael's College in
Oh,
Vermont.
sure. Yeah.
Lived in New York for a while. Have done a bunch of community theater throughout New England, all over the place. Kim and I moved to the Cape a year and a half ago.
Nice.
From New Hampshire, and we've been looking to find community, and theater has always been a good place for us to find community. So
You find friends.
and find
Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
and find all that, and so that's been great. In real life, I am a contract manager for Vineyard Offshore, working on the offshore wind farms, and so this is just a nice way to spend some time, and I get lucky enough this time to work with my favorite collaborator on this one. So
There you go.
that made it easy for us to say yes to Gary when he called.
Well,
Excellent.
you cast them as husband and wife, and
Easy.
they already are husband and wife. But they have a chemistry, and the chemistry shows up on
Yeah,
stage. And I
sure.
just want to say one more thing about Steve. This set behind you.
I was going to get to that.
All right, but I'll let you do it.
All right. Once again, I'll take it under advisement.
I know that. I know that.
So, Kim, tell me about yourself.
So, Steve's wife.
Oh, way more than that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And my theatrical background is I also started theater in high school, junior in high school, and just done professional, semi-professional, stock, community theater. We've done church variety shows. If it's out there, in all of our long career, we've probably done it. So, and we're also Sandwich Arts Alliance members.
Yes, we are.
And just really happy to be participating in this, be working with you, be working with Gary, just such a great group and
So,
a great.
but you don't live in Fountain. Where do you live?
We live in Pecasset.
Oh, you live in Pecasset.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
see, and you can belong to the Arts Alliance in
Yes.
Sandwich and live in Pecasset?
Yeah.
We can.
Oh, my gosh.
It's all good.
To
And
think.
this is the second show I've done with the Sandwich Arts
I know.
Alliance. I
You were
also
in
did
my show.
Love, Loss, and what I wore with Melinda last spring, which was fabulous, and
Sold out performances.
sold out performances, and just an incredibly nice group to work with. So, yeah.
Well, I think we're nice. Then other people may have other things to say, but I think we're
We don't listen to those people.
I know. So, Gary, let's talk about, for the first time in a long time, the Sandwich stage has a real set on it. This is a real set. We have real doors. We have real cabinets. We have a real refrigerator. I heard we're going to have a real stove.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have windows. It's not quite finished yet, but it's getting there. So, Gary, who built this? Wink, wink, nudge,
yeah,
nudge.
well, yeah, I was trying to throw that in, but of course I'm doing it in your sequence.
Thank you.
It's Steve. When we started this, Steve said, you know, I'm kind of a tech guy, so a while ago, a long time ago, I put a projector in here so that we could
Yes, I
project
know.
backgrounds.
That's right.
And Steve said,
Which
no.
is what we use for a lot of the shows.
But Steve said, we need a real set. I said, well, a real set's heavy and everything else. But he says, we need a real set. I said, really? Do you really want? Yes, I do. I'm like, okay, great. So I'm thrilled. He built it in his 2-car garage. Everything that you see behind us, he built in his 2-car garage.
And it comes apart because somebody came in here and says, that's all in one piece. How are they going to get it out of here?
A totally modular, brilliant. Most of the pieces aren't that heavy. Okay,
Yeah.
there are a few that are a little bit heavy, but most of them are not that heavy, and it's beautiful. It's like a soundstage for a sitcom.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect, and I just cannot thank. One thing I have to say about this cast: there's nobody involved in this production that isn't willing to do whatever it takes to make a show happen, and the poster child for that is Steve. I mean, it is
Yeah,
just, this
sure,
is
absolutely.
way above and beyond. There's no egos, there's no attitude problems. This thing is just a pure pleasure to direct. I just come here, we do a rehearsal, and laugh and have fun with these just lovely people.
And don't you guys think that's what theater's about?
It's about community.
Yeah.
And it's about camaraderie. And it's about telling a story. And it's about all of us having a similar experience together in one place and hearing the story and telling the story and listening to the story and participating in the story. That's what it's about.
Well, and you see people out there, this is a fledgling theater project here in Sandwich, as we all know. We do concerts, and then we do storytelling, and then we do a couple of plays. And the thing is, you look for volunteers, and they go, oh, yeah, but I don't know anybody, or I don't do this, or that's not what this is about. It's about bringing whatever talent you have
Absolutely.
and meeting new people. I mean, I know that you had met Charlotte before,
Yep.
Right.
however, but not before you met her, you know what I'm saying, for the last show you did with her, whatever it was.
Yeah, we did Fall Shorts with Charlotte
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah.
years
That's a-
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here we are, thankfully working with her again. It's such a nice way to meet people, and we're new in the community, so it has really been a bridge for us.
Yeah, and Charlotte lived basically right around the corner from us in Pecasset.
And you didn't even know it.
So I
And we
even
didn't know
that.
it.
Yeah.
So,
But that's really important to me, is that people understand the sense of community you get by volunteering to do something like this.
Yep.
And you don't have to be, a great actor or a great lighting tech, or, I mean, it's good if you are, however, you don't have to be. What you can be is just want to come and have some fun.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And the nice thing, the challenging thing and the nice thing about this being a relatively new group, I mean, we've got a lot of experienced people, but there's a lot of room for people to come in
Absolutely.
who want to do props, who want to do costumes, who want to do a wide variety of things, not just on stage, but also on stage.
Yeah.
But there's a whole slew of people behind the scenes that are really critical to making something like this happen.
Absolutely.
And those positions, those places are all wide open in a new group. There's
Right,
there's,
right.
there's room. There's lots of
Right.
room.
And it's funny because I have directed here before, and I've had in other places as well. And a long time ago, I was directing. I was holding auditions, and I had a gentleman come, and he came And he said, the last time I was on stage was in 7th grade, and he got a major role because he was very, very good. However, he came because he was trying to impress his girlfriend, which I thought was funny. Which, I mean, that gave him the role right there. But that said, as he said, he goes, it's been so long since I've had this kind of fun. And it's different. I can't explain it. I don't have words that would do it. But it's a different kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's as you said, camaraderie,
Yeah.
a sense of community, which brings it all together. And we're going to do it on this stage, November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
And then 8, 9, and 10.
8, 9,
so
and 10.
the first 2 weekends in November, Friday night, Saturday night, a Sunday matinee if you don't want to stay out late.
That's
Okay?
right.
So on the first 2 weekends in November, it's going to be a blast. Oh, and I want to just mention before we have crew here that we want to make sure we mention their names.
Yes.
Helen DeMello is doing our stage management
Yep.
and also running our tech. She's worked with me before, worked with all of us before, and she's terrific. One other thing I wanted to touch on that you mentioned, which is a lot of times community theater groups, it's very tempting to just bring in the usual suspects and do a show. We've gone beyond that. We always try to go beyond that. And Ed, I think the last time he did theater
He was a
long
kid,
time.
little kid.
But wait until you see. And watching him, and by the way, this cast work with him to help him evolve and learn it, and watching him soak it up like a sponge, that's part of the reward for doing all this work. I mean,
He's a young guy. How old is he?
he is, I think, is it 26?
29.
29,
He's
29.
29.
I have 6 or 9,
'Cause
upside down.
Well,
He's
here's the
29.
thing, though. He looks younger because
Yeah.
I mean he's let his hair grow,
Right.
so he could have that certain look that you guys were looking. The director was looking for, which kind of was frazzly.
He's the dude.
He's the
The
dude.
dude. He's the
So
dude.
Ed-
With a
Hippie.
tie-dyed shirt.
With
Yep.
a tie-dye shirt.
For Gary, to give Gary credit for casting, Charlotte, who plays our daughter,
Right.
absolutely looks like she could be our daughter.
Right, because of the
Oh, yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
It's-
It's
the hair
and she's
color
doing an
alone.
amazing job.
Yeah.
So everybody, I mean, it's just so much fun. It's
Yeah.
a fun group. It's a really fun
We're
group.
really having a blast. I mean, this is every aspect of the work involved. It's fun.
Well, I know tickets are $30. If you're a member, you get $5 off, which is a good thing,
That's good.
Yes.
right?
Be a member.
Oh, be a member and you get $5 off. And it opens on November 1st. We actually have the following Friday a group doing a reception downstairs and then coming up
Nice.
and seeing the play. So
Oh,
if
nice.
anybody out there wants to do something like that, there's
That's
a
a
group
great
out
idea.
there
Wonderful.
that wants to do it. They're getting a little discount on their tickets,
Yeah.
and we're going to have a little champagne reception for them, and it should be fun, I think. So anyway, let's get back to the basics here, though. So directing a play, first time you've done it in a while, first time you've done it.
Well, I don't
Other
want
than
to.
you've done some little things, right?
I directed one of my own 10-minute plays. And
Right.
Way back in history, I hope these tapes never come out. I used to write and direct spoofs in large tech companies that we did when we introduced products.
I see.
Some of the tapes I've heard were actually preserved at the Computer Museum. I hope for the future of my political career that they never see the light of day.
I see. So, but you found it fun to do this.
Oh my God, what fun!
And creativity, does it spark your creativity?
I think that what is the most fun about theater, and it's an awful lot, strangely enough, like running little companies and so forth, is it is a group creative exercise. And to have everybody's input and then integrate that input, which is just my job, is to integrate that input. And it's just wonderful. At the end, it is a product that we all own. I don't own it. The playwright doesn't own it.
No.
We all own it together.
Yeah.
And the actors don't own it. And everyone owns it together. And the whole crew and cast make it happen. And that's what's fun.
And then bringing that shared experience to an audience
Yeah.
is even more rewarding, I think. You know?
And I challenge anyone to come and not laugh. If you can make it through this whole thing without laughing, I'd like to talk to you after the show.
Well, it's so good that my husband said, who's very fussy about things and doesn't like to go anywhere, he actually said to me, make sure you get me a ticket to this.
Oh,
Ah,
nice.
So Joe.
I think he wants to see Gary's work.
Yeah?
He's going to
Joe.
compare us, I think.
Oh.
So when he writes a play, who's going to direct it?
We're going to have to step up our game.
So anyway, so when you guys aren't on stage, how do you prepare for this? You know, when you don't come to a rehearsal, you're not doing a rehearsal, so it's in between rehearsals.
Yeah.
You rehearse on what, Tuesday, Thursdays, Sundays?
Oh, and more than that.
Yeah, yeah.
We're rehearsing a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but
Probably
that
3 days.
said, what do you do to prepare? As an actor, what do you do to prepare between rehearsals?
Well, I mean, there's, of course, learning the lines.
Right,
All of your own lines, but you also need to know the lead-in line
right.
for your line. So there's all that, but there's a lot of back story to a character that has
Right.
to be built, so that you know how your character would deliver a line. You know how they would react to another character's experience or response or behavior. It's got to come from the backstory. So you have to build a backstory to build a character.
Yeah.
And so that all is part of the lines.
So you make it up? Do you make it up in your head?
Some of it you can make up, but a lot of it, if you really look at the script, the playwright will tell you who they believe the character is.
I see.
So you have to look at the script to see what are the other characters in the show saying about my character? Or what is the stage direction that the playwright has given my character? You know, is the did the playwright give a stage direction that says, you know, pick up the broom and throw it at somebody? Well,
Yeah.
that tells you something about how the playwright saw your character.
Right, right.
So so some of it is developing it yourself. Some of it is what are other characters saying about you, and some of it is what is the stage direction. So you kind of combine all of that to get what you believe is what the playwright intended, and who you are as an actor and actress, and what you can bring on top of that also. So it's a lot. It's a big job to build a character.
And so, that said, Steve, you play a father, one daughter, that you have one daughter,
Yep.
and she's brought home this young man who's hippie-like, for lack of a better term, that, you know,
That
wears
works.
tie-dyed shirts and plays the guitar, and
Not very well.
not very well.
Yep.
And he butts into your kingdom. You're the alpha male in this house.
Absolutely, and so that drives a lot of the show, frankly, is the interaction between myself and Justin. And so, like Kim said, I mean, you draw on what's in the script, but you also draw on your own experience. I mean, we have 3 boys, so, but I won't say they haven't brought home girls occasionally that we weren't that crazy about. So we won't mention any names. So, you know, all that plays into it, and then just reacting to what the other actors are doing. And they're all, excuse me, doing a great job, giving lots to work with. So that's good. And I will say, just to build again on something Kim said, learning lines has gotten a lot harder as I've gotten older.
Really?
It used to be so
I would know
easy.
nothing about
I
that.
would have I just read the play a couple times and boom, I knew
Yeah.
not only my lines but
But
everybody
their
else's
lines,
lines.
right. There you go.
Not so much anymore. yeah, that's.
But it's nothing to be afraid of.
No, not at all. It's
No,
just
and
it takes
actually
a
it's
little
good
extra
for
work.
us.
It's good
It
for
actually
us.
is very good for you
Yes,
to
yes.
do that. I know professional actors that when they were not in shows would study a foreign language just to keep that muscle,
Right,
that
going.
brain muscle working to
Right,
memorize. So,
right,
yeah.
right. Well, I've done my last show of being on stage unless it's improv, because improv, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as you can find a funny line in there or something. That said, though, I did a show, and Gary is well aware of it. It was directed down in Woods Hole, where I played a drugged out alcoholic mother. perfect part for me. And my daughter was Charlotte.
Oh,
And two other girls were in the play as well. And so I had a big speech, and I had all the words in the speech, but they were never in the same order twice. And I always laugh because I end up sitting at one point, and so it was Charlotte next to me. She goes, okay, Melinda, how am I going to know when you're done? I said, I'm going to look at you, and you're going to know I'm done. And that's how we
I said
did it.
everything I could think of.
The speech was a page and a half, and I'd get the front part right or the back part right. In the middle, I got all those. I got the story in, but the words were a little. So I thought to myself, life is telling me something here.
Yeah, a few years ago, Kim and I were in a show called Vanya, Sonia, and
Oh,
Marsha
my
and
gosh.
Spike.
Oh, yeah.
And I was Vanya, and he has a speech that is literally 4 pages
Oh,
long.
I know, it's huge.
And I wasn't sure I was going to, one of the reasons I wanted to do the show was just to see if I could do that.
Right.
And it went pretty well. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean you
that
didn't
was
get
fun.
the middle mixed up with the end?
Yeah, not too much. Not too much.
Well, good for you. That's great. So anyway, again, when is this play, and what's the name of the play, for gosh sakes?
The name of the play is Oat Squares.
Oat Squares.
Yeah, I don't
Oat
think we even
Squares.
mentioned that.
And it is Oat Squares. And I want to also say this, that it isn't just words. There's a lot of words, and the
Yeah.
words are wonderful, but there's a huge amount of physical comedy in this play. And that has been very interesting and fun
Yes.
to work on. But it is Oat Squares. It's George Barnett's play. It's a wonderfully funny, if you liked old sitcoms, you're going to love this. If you need to laugh, you should come. November 1st is
November
opening,
1st and 2nd, it's 7 o'clock.
right? And then at
November 3rd,
for matinee,
right, 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Right. And then the following weekend, 8,
Same,
9, 10?
8, 9,
7,
10,
9, 8.
Fri-
7,
8, 9, 10.
8, 9, 10.
Friday night, the 8th, the 9th, both 7 o'clock at night, and then the 10th, the 2 o'clock matinee.
Perfect.
The first 2 weekends in November. It's really easy to remember.
You know what, and those matinees, because they may be Pat's game days, if you're not a Pat's fan, which right now I think we're all quivering.
Yeah.
That said, though, or if you're a football widow, this is a perfect
There
thing
you
to
go.
do on a Sunday afternoon, right?
Absolutely.
Get your friends together and come on
That's
over.
right. And also, if you're a kid in high school doing theater, this is a good thing to come and see, to see how something comes out of the ground, right? It comes from the ground up, from the writer up to the actors, out to the audience. I mean, that is really kind of amazing. And that's why we like Sandwich Arts Alliance doing these things, because we can do anything, because it doesn't matter what we do, because we can do anything. It's just so much fun, I think.
It is. It is fun.
So, in any case, I just want to thank you for being here today, and it's been delightful. The set is super. It is fantastic. I said to Gary, I'll just throw up a projection, because I said we have nobody that can do this, but now we know somebody who can do this. Well, the one thing is, big discussion was held in our board meeting with Excellence. So we're going to throw this all away, and we went, no, we're not. We're going to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the challenge is finding
We're not
someplace
sure
to
about
store it,
cabinets, but
yeah.
we're going to definitely, keep the back.
It's all
And
reusable. So
And here's the other thing, so nobody's alarmed. This is an antique stage. We all know it.
Yep.
It has its pluses and minuses. Lots
It's
of
not
minuses.
level, by the way.
I know.
I can tell
If
you
you
that
put a
right
chair
now.
in the back, it will quickly roll
Roll
to the front.
Yes. Well, wait a minute. It's a rake stage.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, except it goes the other way.
Yeah. From front to back, not
yeah,
back
exactly.
to front.
Yeah.
However, nothing is tied into the floor.
Nope.
So those people who love this building, and we all love this building, and we cherish it so much, but nothing's tied into the walls.
Nope.
So what do they say? Nothing was harmed in the making of this
Exactly.
play.
Yep.
That's how we feel about this. It's just so terrific.
Well, Steve
So-
has a lot of experience building sets like this in rented spaces.
Oh, that's why.
So he designs and builds them exactly like this, that it really doesn't touch anything.
Well,
it
I
is standalone.
can't believe the counterbalancing, because I've seen, I
Yeah.
know you've got some stuff in the back.
Yep,
bags.
sandbags and,
Yeah.
yep.
I mean,
Yep.
that's quite amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, because you actually open and shut these doors.
We do. We do.
Again,
Yep.
amazing
Sometimes
work.
they slam them.
We
all
won't give it
good
all away,
stuff.
though.
Yeah, we don't want to give it all away, but they do slam the doors.
Excellent, excellent. Well, again, thank you. Kim, Steve, and Gary. Gary, I've got my stamp. I'm going to take it under advisement.
I know. Well, Melinda taught me one thing about directing, which she said at some point, everybody's going to have a suggestion. And there's a point at which you have to stop and you take it under advisement. So I gave her a stamp that has so indicated. So if you find that in any correspondence that you send to me, I'm sorry I gave it to her.
where it
It's
came
my
from.
fault. Yeah.
Yes. In any case, thanks so much. We had a great time.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you for having us.
Well, oh my gosh. Are we going to have a full house for this show? I think so. Oat Squares. Oh, written by the fabulous George Barnett. And by the way, in Broadway World, they said it was a smash comical hit and should actually be off Broadway. Well, it's going to be off Broadway because it's coming right here to the Sandwich Town Hall stage, the Glasstown stage. And Gary Vacon, the director, and Kim and Steve Lajoie, oh my gosh, you're going to love them. It's going to be a great show. So thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time on another Cape Conversations.